Hi guys, hope you all are doing great. Welcome to our YouTube channel. So, I am Manisha Vyas and this is my co-host Disha. So today we have a very special guest with us named Soniya Vyas. She has more than a decade worth of work experience and is a subject matter expert of M&A Tax. Thank you Sonia for joining us.
Thanks, Manisha. Thanks, Disha, for having me. Pleasure to be with you girls.
So Sonia here will answer our questions about M&A tax as a field for articleship as well as post-clearing CA final. So I think the way we'll structure this is first she'll answer the question with regards to articleship and then for post-clearing CA final. So our first question is, what kind of work exposure does one get in M&A tax?
Sure, Manisha. So before I dissect it into what is it as an experience for articles and for post-qualified chartered accountants, I'd first like our friends to understand what kind of work exposure they can just generally expect in M&A tax as a field. Now, I would like to break the exposure into two baskets. One is your technical exposure. Two is your commercial knowledge exposure. Now, what is it that one will get as an experience in technical exposure? So, like we all know that this is about M&A tax, mergers and acquisitions tax. So, tax is definitely the predominant exposure, but I would like to highlight that your experience is not limited to direct tax in this particular area of work. You will also be encouraged to be well-read and learn more about different kind of laws like Companies Act or SEBI regulations or FEMA regulations for that matter, even RERA or any other act which is not really anywhere sometimes close to tax as such, but the kind of solutions that you have to deliver to your clients, they will push you beyond your regular tax area of knowledge, and you will really have to do sometimes some out of the box thinking. And so I would just highlight a couple of things here that what are the kind of key experiences or key assignments, I would say, on a very high level, that these are the things that generally anybody in M&A tax will experience. So your first thing is very basic, which is your due diligences. And when you do the due diligence, you ought to automatically be well-read about your corporate tax. So while it's in more of an advisory role, but unless you don't know your corporate tax well, you won't be able to do justice to your due diligence assignments. You could also be assisting clients on different kind of schemes, whether be it merger or demerger or any slump sale, or any such other business transaction that they want to structure. You may also get experience with respect to working on a private equity transaction, whether it's a buy side or sell side that you're assisting, depending on what is your client requirement at that point in time. And the hot topic right now is in terms of overseas funding, and there's a lot of traction happening on the SPAC side. So your experiences will be very varied, and from a technical perspective, like I said, it'll be a very holistic and all-round kind of exposure that you get. From a commercial angle, since the mergers and acquisitions transactions are something which don't happen every day, these are very unique, and they will require a lot of decision making either at a promoter level. CEOs or CFOs will be involved, and the founders of any company, etc. So you will be working with the key management directly. So you will really have to understand their business, and you'll have to deliver solutions beyond your tax or the other knowledge of the legal side that you have, which is you'll have to understand what's their business. You'll have to know what is it in for them that will really make them feel that your suggestions are of value to them. So you will have to think like a businessman at that time or a businesswoman at that time. And that is what will make you a complete package as in your experience. Now, let's come to your question, Manisha, whether it is what is it for an article here? I would say everything, whether it's a technical side or a commercial side. An article will get both sort of experiences because when they are working on the transaction alongside their teams, they will be required to be well read to churn out a deliverable which is of a decent shape and size and output. Of course, they will be trained for that, but it will be really worth that experience. And on the commercial front also, because they will be in dialogues with their teams, they may be in interactions even with the senior colleagues or partners on that particular client engagement. They may also be a part of the calls that happen. All of this will give them a chance to listen to the kind of conversations that are being done with the client or internally when they're deliberating on a particular situation. And from there, they can really capture the commercial angles also. So what is it different for a qualified chartered accountant? I would say maybe FaceTime with the clients, because when there are client meetings, it is not always efficient also to carry everybody. So you may not get the FaceTime with the clients, or you may not always be able to even participate in the calls. But having said that, do you lose out on anything if that is the case? I wouldn't say that a large loss or anything which doesn't help you grow, because you are anyway learning and anyway doing all those things that a qualified chartered accountant is doing, and even you're being trained for that. So I would just say that it's a very marginal difference. Of course, each one has their own experiences, but to my limited experience, I would not see a very large difference between the two.
That was quite insightful. I just have one question. So you said due diligence. I'm not very sure if our viewers who just cleared their IPCC would know what due diligence is. So in a line or two, if you can just explain what that is.
Sure, definitely. So I would say that a due diligence is a similar exercise to a health check. That if I'm interested in a particular business, and if I say that, okay, I want to buy, say, 20% stake in this business. Now, if I'm putting 20% money on the table, then I need to understand whether the company is compliant. Are they profitable enough to give me returns on my 20%? So what we do is we understand the financial viability and also how well compliant they are. And then the report is delivered to just give more comfort to the investor who's putting the 20% on the table.
Right, that makes a lot of sense, yes.
Thanks, Sonia, for this. So all of this sounds very great, and it feels that it takes a lot of competence, a lot of proficiency to get into M&A tax. So can you throw some light on what should be the ideal characteristic of a candidate who wants to apply in M&A tax?
Sure, Disha. So definitely one would be preferred, or one would look at the number of attempts that are taken after qualification. But I would still say that whether it's an article or whether it's a qualified chartered accountant, the key aspect that generally we have, in my experience, looked at is the attitude of a person. Because to my mind, and of course everybody else would also, whomever I have interacted with, agree to this, that you can really teach technical aspects to a candidate who joins you or a team member who joins you. It can be done very easily on the job. But what is difficult to really imbibe at times are the softer aspects in terms of for example, I'll just throw light here that in M&A transactions, everything is very time sensitive. You don't really have time. Everything is required as of day before yesterday, not even yesterday. So your level of commitment is something which is very crucial for the entire team to meet the timelines. Right. So it's really your determination, your commitment, your willingness to learn, your willingness to stretch yourselves in those burning times when the team requires you is what is of essence to us. Technicals, of course, if you're sharp enough, things will work pretty smooth, but I would still say that can be learned on the job. It's predominantly your level of commitment and your willingness to learn that would precede over anything else.
Right, definitely can't agree more, Sonia. In fact, there's a saying that if a man has learned how to learn, then he's learned enough in life. So I think that's a great example, and I think our viewers should really benefit that the articleship experience is not just the end goal here. It's more about the long-term learning, and it's going to be a continuous process. Thanks for that, Sonia.
Yeah, Sonia. So our next question to you is, so what according to you, what role does a firm firm of articleship play in the career of an individual? So for example, let's say somebody has done their articleship from a small firm. Does he have the same shot at getting into, let's say, an advisory field in a large firm as opposed to somebody who did articleship from a large firm?
So, a good question, Manisha. And I'd like to share my experience that even I have been from a small firm. So, part of the question is already answered. I am a part of a large organization and I've been working on M&A tax quite a few years now. So, the scenario is not very different today, also. I would just like to share that. If your technicals are strong, definitely they matter, but they're not really the deciding factor. What is decisive about any candidate is their willingness to learn. Again, I'll come to the same point. Their levels of commitment, the hard work that they would like to put in. So it's all about the attitude at the end of the day. Technicals are a plus, I would say. They're not, to me, they're not the predominant thing. They are just some benefits or like you would say, toppings to the things, but they're not the essence. So they pretty much stand an equal chance, whether it's a person who's coming from a large firm versus a small size firm.
Right. I think that is very helpful for a lot of people who are trying to decide the firm for their articleship.
Right, that's true. So, Sonia, can you tell us what are the future opportunities for a student who has done his articleship in M&A tax post-qualification?
Surely. So as you would now be aware, what are the kind of different experiences and the different kind of assignments that one can expect in an M&A tax field, your chances of getting into similar roles post-qualification, they become even brighter. Now, before we go to that part, I would just like to say whether it's any field that you've done your chartered accountancy articleship, you pretty much are on the same plane in reaching out your career aspirations. You're pretty much on the same plane. What gives you an edge in M&A tax as an articleship experience is if you want to say join an investment banking firm, or if you want to join a boutique private equity house, or if you want to join some kind of a wealth management segment, or if you want to say look for opportunities within industry where there are actually specialized M&A tax teams only within very large organizations. So when you have an experience from this particular background, you will definitely have an edge over the other candidates in these streams, which I know, as a matter of fact, are really, really rewarding and really enriching streams. And at times, it's really difficult to get into that. But when you have this kind of an exposure in your kitty, it sort of makes life a little easier for you.
Yeah, that's helpful. That's true.
So Sonia, I know this question is a little too late, or maybe like 15 years too late. But which department would you like to have joined if you were starting your articleship or post clearing CA final?
Thanks, Manisha. I really wish I had this kind of an insightful platform when I did my chartered accountancy course and benefit from the likes of you guys. Uh, Having said that, I would really be happy to get an all-round experience. I love M&A as a field, and to me, it's been personally extremely rewarding and something which has helped me develop a lot, not only on the technical front, but a lot of soft skill development. Um, so the way I would like to structure this whole experience to get the best out of M&A is to first try my hand in financial advisory department of transaction services, where I would do due diligence assignments largely and learn to dissect the financial statements of the target company, which will kind of help me understand the performance of the company and the viability in future, and what are the kind of profits that they can generate based on their current contracts, experience, and wherever they stand today. That can give me a sense of the commercial running of the business, as well as understanding how the business is going to do in the coming years. So it kind of gives me a lot of insight on the financials plus the business part of it. And if I can get a few, basic valuation assignments also, that will be good to have. After I've done part of my articleship in this area, then I'd like to jump to mergers and acquisitions tax, which is what I do right now, where again, I'd like to have this entire holistic experience from a legal framework. So first we looked at the financials, and then now we're going to look at the legal area of it. And at the end of my articleship period, then I would have best of both worlds, and I can be looked at as a holistic advisory from both financial as tax side.
Right. Thank you, Sonia.
Thanks a lot, Sonia. I think it was a pleasure interacting with you, and thanks again for sparing the time. To all our viewers, Sonia is from large firm, and we all know how difficult it is to really remove time for this, and I hope you all benefited from this. In case you have any queries, in case you wish to know more about CA final study preparation guide, we are here to guide you. You'll find the link to our mentorship program in the description box below. Also, we have started a book donation drive for all CA students. Any person who has any CA related material, it could be your study module, RTPs, third author books, or question banks, and you wish to donate your books, then there is a link in the description box below. You can click on it. If there's any student who wants to avail this facility, who wants to use these books, there's also another link in the description box below where you can give us your email ID, address, and we'll share the book list with you. So that's all for today. Keep watching, keep studying, and bye.